Dirkens here. Tonight, I am going to preview a team because one of you keeps asking me to preview this team. Now, it's things I do for the people I really like. So here we go. This team's giving us players like Wes Welker, Michael Crabtree, and most recently, Patrick Mahomes. Who am I talking about? Lubbock's finest, Texas Tech Red Raiders. Now, I know you're like, Bobby, this team is not a contender. Yeah, I know. But I just want to do this for you boys, and y'all been asking me to do it. That's all I'll do, is even if I have to crank out a lie or 12. Let's be honest with ourselves. They play in the Big 12, who's actually 10, because you can't be the Big 12 if you only have 10 teams there, though I still call them the Big 12. Truth is, Texas Tech, out of the 10 teams that's left, they're about number 9. They returned 16 starters, 10 of those being on the defensive side of the ball. Last year was an underwhelming performance of a 6-7 season, with their 7th loss coming into an underwhelming bowl game. Who really cares about this? I mean, really. There's no Patrick Mahomes playing for them. I know got that Dakota Allen, that's only because he's on last chance you. And their coach, Cliff Kingsbury, best hair in college football. And glad he's got that going for him, because Lord knows going into his 6th year, he ain't got no wins going for him. Let me name off a couple of seasons. Last year, 6-7. I already said that. Year before that, 5-7. You notice a constant little thing going on here. Year before that, 7-6. Boy, we're overachievers. Year before that, everybody's smoking pot. 4-8. Year before that, they were 8-5. I bet they were rolling out the barrels for the youngin. Gonna give him a contract extension through, 2030 or something. The point is, Texas Tech does not have this just killer talent. So let's talk about what they do have, what they're returning. The only good news for them is that out of the 11 defensive starters, they return 10. Normally, I start with the offense, not with this team. I'm going to start with probably their strongest unit. Leading off with, last chance you used Dakota Allen. He played last year. Man, he had a great season. 102 tackles, 2 sacks. I mean, this kid's going to play on Sundays, most likely. He's a senior this year. Really talented player. Linebacker. I mean, this guy knows what he's doing. A couple of notable names. Joshawn Johnson. I always love it when someone takes a regular name and flips it around to where we're all sitting there questioning ourselves, can we read? And then we realize we can. I just don't know how to say that name. But anyway, it's young, and he had 97 tackles, very talented. Jordan Brooks, Vontae, another one, Dorsey, I got Broderick Washington, player Justice Parker. And this guy, he had 4 interceptions last year, and that always impresses me. To me, once you get over about 30 interceptions, it starts getting impressive. But they have the defensive unit. Now, as I was looking over their 7 losses last year, I noticed that if their defense could have held the other team to like 25 points, which that's still pretty, that's still pretty out there. That's still being pretty generous. They would have won 4 more ball games, and they would have flipped that record. In fact, they'd have won 5 more ball games. They'd flipped that record from 6-7 to 11-2. If their defense could have held the other team to only 25 points. Now, they did get blown out this past season by TCU. They got popped around by Iowa State, a couple other teams. But here's the deal. Their offense still put up so many points that had the defense been able to hold the other team to 25 points, they would have, it'd have been a drastically different season. This may be good news for them until we get to the offense. They had this young, and I don't know what's up with them and all these people with these different names. I'm sorry. I tried Hooked on Phonics. It worked for me, but it still ain't going to fix this stuff. Nick Shimanek. Toes crossed. Young and threw for almost 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And they still went 6-7. Do we not understand that high-powered offense supposed to equal wins? I mean, do y'all not get that? Does everybody? Am I the only one who that light bulb goes ding? Am I the only one? I mean, I can't be. I can't be. But they just can't. They just can't get anything going. Their starting running back, Stockton, he's gone. He's not there anymore. You do return youngin. What's his name right there? They got Trey King, DeLeon Ward. He's coming back. He's gonna be playing this year. So at the end of the day, they do have some players coming back. Another good news for them is that they have a decent amount of starters. In fact, they got all 5 of their starters back on their offensive line. So if there's any good news that they could have, is that they have a bunch of starters back on the offensive line. Here's the bad news. Your schedule is not that easy. Lord, this is like telling somebody they have to have a colonoscopy while having to stay awake and watch it and perform their own colonoscopy. Whew. I'm sorry. The other day, my granny, I had to take her to the hospital. And it reminds me of just bad stuff. I mean, none of this is good. Took her to the hospital, having to run some type of line into her heart. But it was weird because they could do it while she was awake. And these old women, they come in there, burly women. They could have been Vikings back in the day. Ran the line back into it, went into her heart. And they could actually feed nutrients through her heart. They walk out. This bouncy new nurse comes in there, pops the morphine in because she's been in shape. But instead of easing it in, this new nurse, I guess she was just happy to be there and such, just popped it like that. And when she did it, almost turned my granny's heart, almost made it explode like one of those weenies in a microwave. And then later on came in, had to put IV in there, basically turned my granny's wrist into ground beef. Now you're not supposed to slap a woman, but can you hit a moron? Anyway. Okay, now back to the good news for everybody for Texas Tech. You don't play in the easiest conference in the world, and that's not good for you. It's not easy. It's not the hardest conference, but it's not easy. So let's go ahead and talk about it. First game, you might be able to win it. I don't know. Mississippi. Mississippi lost Shea Patterson. They do return a lot of players, believe it or not. So I hate to tell you, I think Ole Miss beats you. Yes, I know they're running a brothel down there. I know that they probably got more NCAA sanctions, only second to Miami and North Carolina in that basket weaving class that they were letting these boys in on. But I'm just telling you, they still return a lot of talent. I think Ole Miss is going to beat you. Next game, you play a man named Lamar. I'd be very careful with Lamar. He smokes. He's kind of cheap. He secondhand smokes. But Lamar, I think you'll beat that old man. Next game, play Houston. Now, when you think about Houston, you think about what was and not what is. I can't remember anything about Houston. Y'all forgive me. I'm going to go ahead and give you that win because that's one of your last ones, I think. Unless something could happen on that defensive side of the ball and offense, y'all have a savior show up. You're going to play at Oklahoma State. You're losing that game. Gundy and that horrible hairdo of his. Now think about how many millions of dollars he's making. I mean, he looks like he's got a darn squirrel turned sideways and just wrapped up around his head, and he wants people to take him serious. I'm sorry. I don't take you serious. I don't take you serious. I think it looks ridiculous. I know you're like, well, Bobby, you redneck. Don't you supposed to? No, I hate that crap. That's why I get my hair skinned off. I'm a refined redneck, thank you very much. Next week, you play Will. I think a team that if Will Grier stays healthy, the Big 12 or 10 or how many teams y'all want to call yourselves got big problems. West Virginia. I think West Virginia's going to beat you. Will Grier's a nasty football player, so there's a loss number, 3? Now you're 2-3. You're going to be off on October 6th. You're going to play at TCU. Gary Patterson, you never know about him. He'll go 4-8, and he'll go 14-1. And I think he's still going to beat you no matter what team he has this coming year. You're going to beat TCU. Then you're going to play the high school of Kansas Jayhawks. I think you win that ball game. Next, you play at Iowa State. You're losing that ball game. I'm sorry. You're playing Oklahoma. You're definitely losing that ball game. And then it doesn't get any easier. You're playing Tom Herman. Tom Herman and the Texas Longhorns. You are losing that ball game as well. Then you're going to play at Kansas State. Oh, Lord, Kansas State, they are what they are. But I think you're going to win that ball game. I don't know how. I don't know what. Wow. And if I'm wrong, does it really matter? You're going to have a losing season anyway. Then you're going to play the good Christian boys from Baylor, who would never cover up anything and who would never even harm a gnat. Yeah. I think you're going to win that ball game. So what did I say? Oh, 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss, 4 loss, 5, 6, 7 losses. I think you're going to lose 7 ball games. I'm sorry. I'm serious. I'm sorry. It's just sometimes there's just depressing stuff you have to talk about. Sometimes it's, little starving kids in other countries, retarded dogs. In this case, it was Texas Tech Red Raider football. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Remember, I am on Instagram at the Bobby Dirkens. Also, remember, I'm putting out an album making fun of our feathered foe down there in Columbia. Pure unadulterated hate for the Carolina Gamecocks. Columbia Gamecocks, I like to say. So y'all be ready for that. I'll be putting that out at the end of the year. Even if you're like, I don't even have a problem with Gamecocks. You want to get this. You can play for somebody about to jump off a cliff. They'll laugh so hard, they'll put a pelt in their step. Here we go. Bobby Dirkens here, saying I am Bobby Dirkens. I'm right. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. Bobby Dirkens.